Good morning and welcome to our Sales and Marketing AI and Automation Showcase. You're in for a great webinar today and we've got a phenomenal turnout. Thank you so much for coming. Well, without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Aaron Leblanc. He is one of our marketing partners from Hypelocal who specializes in AI and automation. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning.
And Rick Lambert, I will turn it over to you now, and Aaron as well. Let's go.
Hey, I don't get a fancy intro like Aaron there. Hey, good morning, everybody. And Melissa, great job as usual kicking it off. I just want to say thanks to those of you. Yeah, overwhelming turnout today, by the way. It's obviously a hot topic, and I'm excited to introduce you guys to Aaron, our partner, who has more than capability in terms of this space. We wanted to show you something different today than I think you may have seen. There's all kinds of buzz in the air around AI. And what we wanted to do today in short was, whether you've engaged us through Into Communications on our managed digital marketing, maybe we built your website, maybe you've gone through my LinkedIn bootcamp or attended one of my training events. I think we all know that AI and automation is going to have its place at the table. And so Aaron, if you just flip to the first slide there, I just wanted to share kind of as an industry guy that works with a lot of different tech resellers and different businesses. I think there's a lot of confusion right now around, we know AI is hot, but how do we use it? And I'm going to assume today that most of you understand the basic capabilities of ChatGPT and these other platforms. Maybe you've used ChatGPT to write a love letter, or maybe you've used it to scope out an email or get some ideas for a meeting theme or whatever. But I think the magic that you'll see today is how Aaron's worked with our company to create some customized automated workflows with AI injected into them. So we'll talk to that. I think today's going to be more of a demonstration so you can see it. I find a lot of people talk about it, but today we want to just show you. So if you go to the next slide there, Aaron, just recently I spoke at a CDA conference, which arguably hosts a lot of the larger technology resellers in North America. And clearly AI was a hot spot. And yet I found a lot of the folks that I know came away and said, Rick, okay, it's hot, but how do I use it? So today's more of a how to use it. And we're just going to give you 4 simple examples that will drive immediate ROI. We're not going to get into some real advanced things, but I thought by showing you step-by-step current state versus how you could do it, it should be potentially a no-brainer for your business. So what I want to do next, Aaron, if you go to the next slide there, is have Aaron explain the difference between AI and then AI and automation, because they're 2 different kind of pieces. And I think there's a lot of confusion out there. And I say that respectfully, but I just learned this over the last little while as I'm a student of this. And Aaron, maybe speak to the difference between the 2. And just for those of you who are meeting Aaron for the first time, great guy, gets it, works with SaaS companies, understands sales. And the marriage between us is really our understanding of the industry, the content, understanding kind of the buyer journey, if you want to call it, and the sales process, and using Aaron's methodology, using AI and automation to kind of start, advance, or win more deals. But Aaron, can you let them know kind of what you see as the difference between AI and AI automation?
For sure. So that was a great lead in, Rick. I'm, as you know, I'm a certified Zapier expert, one of the top experts in North America. And the big thing that we see with companies using AI and automation is they're using them separately. They're using them disconnected. So you have, companies doing some automation over here with different tasks within the business suite. And then you have individuals using AI personally, manually on like the ChatGPT interface or one of these other AIs to write business content or do a social post or build out a scope of work or something like that. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to show how we put AI and automation together within a single workflow to basically automate things and do things that were never possible before. So,
hey, Aaron, just before you go further, I know the audience, you use the word Zapier and some are familiar with that platform, and some may be thinking, hey, I'm sitting on HubSpot. Is this for me? I don't have HubSpot. Is this for me? I'm using Zoom Info. And I think just for clarity, whether you've got HubSpot or not, everything we talk about today you can use as a technology reseller. We wanted to keep it kind of down the middle. You got HubSpot? Great. We can use it with that for sure. You don't? No problem. But you kind of walked past your Zapier expertise. And could you just in layman terms explain what Zapier is and why that's a critical kind of hub to all the technologies?
Great point. So Zapier is an automation platform that is basically sits in the center of over 5,000 different applications and softwares. So Zapier is the connector, the middle ground. So what Zapier has done is it has enabled SMBs, even large enterprises, to now automate things that was never possible before. So if your software, your CRM, or whatever you're using is connected to Zapier or has an API, you can use it to automate. Now, the other technology we're going to talk about is OpenAI and using the ChatGPT API within Zapier automations and within the greater ecosystem to automate these, do these phenomenal things for us, which we're going to show.
So I think for those of you watching today, and I'm sorry if I'm beating it down too much here, but Zapier basically allows unstructured environments of data to speak to one another so that you can optimize that data, whether it's from a sales methodology or process or a marketing process. And that's where you'll see today the magic happens. Anyway, sorry, Aaron, go ahead.
Cool.
Okay, our poll here we go. So here's a quick question for you, okay? And I saw this asked at a conference recently. I'll be interested in the answers here. Are you currently using AI and automation? Now, we got not at all. If you'll click now, your option, you should see it on the screen. Not at all, dabbling in it, okay? Your toe in the water. Or, hey, we're actively using it, Rick. We're really using this thing right now. So if you guys can click in there, we'll see. What do you think the answers are going to be here, Aaron?
I think we're going to have mostly people are dabbling in it.
Oh, you do? Oh. See, I have the privilege of seeing the results here. I'm just waiting for a few more to come in.
A lot of people are overconfident out there, Aaron. Trust me, they're going to go.
Come on, everybody, weigh in.
Okay.
Okay, let's end it and I'll show you the results. 61% not at all.
Wow.
Is that a shock?
That's surprising. But if we look at the companies that are leveraging AI and automation and the adoption curve, it makes sense because we're right at the innovator stage with this. What you're going to see today is really stuff that is on the cutting edge, stuff that I don't see as a Zapier expert working with multiple different firms on automations. I don't see people doing this out there. So I guess that doesn't surprise me, but I kind of expected that there would be more people that were at least dabbling in it.
Yeah, we're very early in this thing. And I think if you go to the next one, we want to show you 4 applications here. Okay, so rather than just talking generalities, what I asked Aaron to put together with our team are 4 examples. And again, think today's demonstration, not a lot of chatter on it can do this. We want to show you. The first one we're going to talk about is form conversion automation. So you've got a form on your website. Maybe it's a content offer, right? Person fills out name, company, etc. How can you start to automate once that person converts into using that and putting it in an automated kind of sequence or automated path? Number 2 is auto customer onboarding. So look, you and I both know when a customer comes in and signs a deal with your company, do we have an automated series that follows up after that point of purchase so that we can start to do things like cross-selling or improve the customer experience, right? Because we all talk about customer for life, but what are we doing to get that relationship off on a positive start? Number 3, lower left there, you got auto data structuring. If there's one thing I hear from salespeople about CRMs is how much they despise putting the data into CRM. Aaron's going to show you a nice, simple thing you can do here with your people. And again, it doesn't matter what technologies you're using right now. We tried to pick ones down the middle. Anybody can plug and play. Number 4 is auto meeting scheduler. So if you two have played ping pong with somebody, hey, can we meet this time? Can we meet that time? Can we meet this time? And wasted a whole bunch of cycles on that. Maybe you're using Calendly or some of these platforms. Great. If not, I think you'll like number 4. So those are the 4 we selected today. There's many more, but we thought we'd start with 4 ideas or opportunities that would drive immediate ROI.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about some of the challenges with each of these areas. We're going to show an overview of how the automation works. And then I'm actually going to do a live demo for 3 of 4 of these. So let's jump right into it. Let's start with the form conversion automator. Do you want to talk about some of the challenges, Rick?
Yeah, so we picked this guy's face because he represents a typical sales rep that gets a lead off the website. And, at the conference I was at recently, I spoke at, I asked, I think there was like 5 or 6 marketing leaders from tech resellers. I asked the question, how are you currently coaching your salespeople to follow up on a website lead? And I asked that question because I assumed there wasn't going to be a lot of responses because, most salespeople are used to a lead being, hey, I'd like a quote on this product, but a website conversion, maybe it's on an ebook or a webinar, is a little softer animal that you got to follow up with. And as you can see here, the challenges that we see are the lead time to the rep. Like how long does it take from when the customer converts to that rep gets it? And you all know speed is so critical there. Lead assignment. Okay, so we see leads come in from the websites we manage. We create a lot of leads for customers, but that routing of who it's assigned to is a problem. Lost leads, like how many times have leads got lost or not followed up on? And that's my 4th bullet there, the follow-up skills. So are your reps prepared to follow up on the conversion of a customer on an ebook on, 7 tips to do this or whatever? And we just find that's a gap. So Aaron, I'll turn over to you here to talk about how you can automate this process.
Perfect. So let's show the high level here first. So this is just an example. Rick and I sat down and we wanted to put some solid examples in place to do a good demo. However, keep in mind that we can expand this outside of this or keep it even more simple if needed. So as an example, the prospect will complete an IT services website form. Okay, so right on your website. Then what we do is we actually use AI to automatically ingest all that data and output selling notes for the sales rep. Okay, so selling notes can include call scripts, email scripts, actual value points to hit on when they're talking with the prospect. And you can actually have completely custom instructions based on your messaging, based on your brand, on what that information should be going to the rep.
So Aaron, typically what a rep gets is a name of the guy or lady that converts in the company. And what Aaron's talking about is how we can use our heritage at Sell to Win and Into to create, think of it as a sales playbook, okay, rather than just name and company. And you'll see that using ChatGPT today. Sorry, go on to step 3 there.
Cool. So step 3 is we can then use the automation to automatically assign and route the lead based on parameters that we set up. We can then automatically notify the team member via email with the prospect details and those selling notes. We can then take all that data that was loaded on the website, automatically enter that into a CRM or a spreadsheet for visibility and tracking. And then lastly, we can then ping those chat channels like Teams or Slack or like Salesforce Chatter, whatever that might be. So let's go ahead and let's jump right into the demo. So we have our IT services website form here. Rick, do you want to give me some information for our form?
Yeah, absolutely. So think of this, folks, if you're watching, this is a form on your website. We haven't set up a stilted form here, but we can do this with any form on your website. So a customer would come here and let's, I don't know, do you want to use my name and Sell to Win? Will that work or no?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, so Rick Lambert converts on the form.
What's your phone number, Rick?
So we'll put down, 866-735-5869. Yeah, I'll be getting lots of calls tonight. Anyway, Rick at, selltowin.com. Company Sell to Win. Now we're just using this here. Again, it could be any of your customers, companies, job title, put down CEO. Okay. Estimated number of employees, 15. Okay. And let's say I'm interested in managed IT. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I could pick more, but let's just say they're interested in one. And let's see how the automation AI would work here.
Okay, so what's happening in the background now is the data is being fed into Zapier automatically and into ChatGPT via API. So we're using the API, ChatGPT API, to actually create the conversation. And then the prompt that we use is going to give us the output that we have. So let's go ahead and let's see if it's done yet. So it's not done yet. We'll take a second to process everything. Usually takes about 2 to 3 minutes.
One thing then behind the scenes, I think, Aaron, they may want to know is what we can do is we can coach based on the prompts, ChatGPT, the pain points with managed IT services or IT services. We can input, suggested business outcomes that this person when they convert on that. We can inject industry trends in there. So all of this intelligence we would inject into ChatGPT that automates within this workflow. So when that selling notes, as Aaron calls it, or sales playbook comes out, you're going to see a fairly comprehensive guide for a sales rep. Now think of the turnover, not just your mature reps that have it all figured out, but if I'm a young one, take a look at what Aaron's got here in terms of how this would flow down to you just from a conversion on a website form with just a few variable fields converted.
So here's the example. So we can see that we had an automated document create with all of the, sorry, I just have to move some of this, with all of the selling data here. I'm going to blow this up. Okay, so we can just see form conversion automation example, service selling notes for sell to win. So here's the selling notes. Here's all the lead data, right? Then we can actually see the key selling notes, address the challenges that sell to win is currently facing, such as budget constraints, lack of in-house expertise, data loss, security vulnerabilities, and productivity issues due to downtime. Propose our managed IT services as a solution to these challenges, highlight the benefits such as a fixed monthly fee, access to a certified IT professional, right, and so on. Then we can actually see the email script here. Okay, so subject, transform your business with our managed IT services. Dear Rick, I understand that Sell to Win is currently experiencing several IT-related challenges. Today's digital age, these obstacles can significantly hinder your business growth. Our managed IT services are designed to address these issues head on. The fixed monthly fee, you can budget predictably without having to worry about unexpected IT costs. So you can see here, this is a very solid email template that they can use, 100% customized based on the input data. That's the value here of using AI. Then we also have
one question they may have is, okay, does this email automatically go to the customer? The answer is no. What's provided here? Think of it as a playbook, right? Aaron calls it notes, but a rep may say, hey, that first line there is a little strong. I understand that Sell to Win is currently experiencing several IT. They may say maybe currently. So the rep can work their own little paintbrush on this, but bang, right away, we've probably taken I ask sales teams, how long does it take your reps to create an email? Most say 20 minutes. So take that 20 minutes, bang, we've got a follow-up right here, email. And of course, we always coach the live follow-up on the phone. So here's an example of a call script that emulates the email with the same challenges, business opportunities, and business impact for a managed IT. So I guess what I was trying to show here, Aaron, to our audience is option A, current state. I get the name of the person. I may get the email and the company. Maybe I get phone number. But I don't really have this type of fully dressed playbook on that specific target or prospect. And I thought this was a wonderful application that I'm not seeing out there at all.
Yeah, the beauty of this too, Rick, is you could automate it. If you gear the prompt under the hood to be something that you're extremely happy with, you could automate this email going out, and it could be fully customized. The other beauty about this is what you see here is just a basic example. We massage this and we modify this based on the company, the brand, how they communicate with their customers. So every automation that we build is actually unique to that business. So let's carry on. So we can see here that if I look at my spreadsheet, right, I can see all of my data was just entered here at 11:16, right? Sell to Win, Rick Lambert, Managed IT, so on. Then if I look at my Slack channel, give me 1 second here. I'm just going to pull this up, right? I can see that there has now been also a notification to Slack that, hey, I've got a new IT services lead, all the data, and even those selling notes that we were just looking at. So it brings that visibility, that instant visibility to the lead, make sure that no leads are missed, and that, you know, we have a higher conversion from lead to sale or lead to at least presentation ratio.
And so our plan for you at Technology Reseller is to take our sales training, content, presentations we've built for hundreds of tech resellers, inject that into ChatGPT, and like Aaron's saying, customize it for your business. So if you don't sell managed IT, no problem. We got managed print, or you could build a full stack of conversion automation workflows like this.
Exactly. So just a couple of opportunities I wanted to make sure everyone was aware of is that auto assignments can be based on specific criteria or rules that you set up, right? Like, for instance, regions, employee size, certain services. So you could automatically route those to specific reps. You can create custom messaging based on the instructions that we're giving to the AI. You can enrich the data that's actually being shared with the AI via third-party tools like ZoomInfo or Clearbit. So you could even create more advanced selling notes if, of course, we have more information that we're feeding the AI. And then lastly is that the autoresponders and nurtures can be fully customized, fully, you know, created based on that prospect data coming into the form. So a really, really great opportunity that we're doing with a number of companies and has helped them to accelerate their lead to conversion ratios, which is great.
And just before we go to the next one, you know, we see a lot of challenges with that first bullet you got there on lead distribution. Sometimes territories overlap, or this guy's got a major account in her territory. And so based on the criteria, we can set up to auto distribute the lead, and or if it doesn't meet a criteria or meets this other criteria, it would go to your centralized quarterback who would distribute the lead. So anyway, just a thought there. Okay, so auto customer onboarding, classic case, right? Customer comes in, even if it's an existing customer, maybe, you know, in your world, they've bought a new copier from you and you sell a full stack of IT services. You know, what happens after they sign, right? A lot of times there's some automation, whether it's through CEO juice or you do surveys or whatever, but how do we keep that prospect in that spider web, if I can call it, of ongoing top of mind touch points that aren't always selling, by the way, but educating, but, you know, with an undercurrent of inviting them to look at more than whatever they bought from you. So the challenges we see are the customer experience. Like, is it a wham bam kind of thing and they don't hear from you? Is the customer aware? My second bullet there, like, does the customer even know you sell these services? And I can tell you as a sales guy, I've walked into accounts many times in the past and the customer says, hey, Rick, we just got this new thing. I'm like, well, we sell that. Oh, I didn't know you sold. So again, awareness, cross-selling, something that, you know, we launched a new program called Selling the Total Office to Win. So cross-selling, very popular right now. And again, they bought this, but how do we get them to, you know, look at those adjacent services? And a lot of you folks are familiar with the concept of raving fans. How do we keep the customer in check, in our ecosystem, if you want to call it? And along the way, we can even set up in these automations ways to, you know, solicit, are they happy, et cetera, to support the cross-selling. Anyway, let's take a look at this one here.
So in this case, Rick, we're not going to do a live demo, but we're going to walk through how the automation would work, the flow, and how we've set it up before. So first off, there would be a trigger, something to trigger the onboarding flow with the customer data and what they actually purchased. Now, what we found working with your partners, the IT and technology reseller, is that there are a lot of different products and services that they offer, right? And different variants and versions and so on. So we can have ChatGPT ingest that customer data with our instructions and create a fully customized onboarding message based on that criteria that goes out to the customer. What's interesting about this
messages, I might say plural, right? We want we can, you know, so there's the sequences we're talking here too, but each message would be automated. Sorry, go ahead, Aaron.
Exactly. So the customer is then sent automated onboarding email or emails in line with the purchase products, right? Products are delivered, implemented, time passes. And then the customer sent new product upsells, nurtures, and engagements fully automatically, okay, without a sales rep having to inject themselves on, and those engagements and nurtures are aligned to that initial purchase, right? Which is something that has been very hard to do or expensive to build in the past with, many if then that type statements, where AI can really do this very seamlessly based on our instructions. So what this does is this helps the sales reps to get more opportunities, sales opportunities, and presentations fully automatically from the purchase and the onboarding of a new customer.
And I think the one thing that we're doing with each of these workflows is we're collecting data in a structured manner that could be used for multiple purposes. So as companies come to their fiscal year end, or maybe there's a trigger event, et cetera, we can implement, use the data better using all these things we're talking about. Sorry. Okay, so onboarding, I think fairly obvious gap, a lot would say. If you're a business leader today, I just ask you, when a customer commits to you and or you deliver, what is that ongoing automated sequence? Because I don't find sales reps sometimes will stay with the customer and court that customer for a 3-month, 6-month, 12-month, 18-month period, and we want to keep them in our little sticky spider web if we can.
Yeah, and those are the easiest sales and upsell opportunities that we have, right? Our existing customer base, especially ones that are onboarding fresh with us. So opportunities for customer onboarding and the automation we just showed is fully customized onboarding flows based on customer type, products, services, right? Completely unique, automated upselling and nurturing based on that customer data. And of course, stronger retention and loyalty campaigns to drive even more growth and faster growth. Auto data structuring. This is one of my favorites.
Okay, I know, because we see it all. People are using this platform and Zoom, and they're using CEO Juice, or they're using, their CRM, and it's just it's a junk drawer. And as we look to optimize the marketing spend for our customers, we're finding that if we can structure the data in a way where it's organized, we can then leverage that exponentially versus trying to pick it out at different areas. And anyway, so when it comes to this area, obviously CRM resistance from the sales reps, how do we alleviate that pain? You've all heard, right? Bad data in, bad data out. We talk to unstructured data. And if you think about it, if you wrote down on a piece of paper right now all of the different databases you have that would have current or potential customer information, you've probably got a long list, or at least multiple, where ideally you want to have it in one environment. And then as a result, if we're dealing with fractured data, we can't be as effective as our marketing team can be in terms of identifying profiles or ideal customer profiles, et cetera, and marketing accordingly. So let maybe talk to this, Aaron, because it's a common challenge we see people having.
Yeah, this is one of the biggest challenges. I managed large sales forces before, and this is one of the biggest issues that I found within sales teams is the manual data entry. I got a prospect, right? Somebody's engaged. Now I have to go over to the CRM and I need to add all that data in there. And that's going to take me 10 to 20 minutes to get that right, to build my contact data, to build the company data, to build the deal data, associate everything, right? And the data that we're asking salespeople to enter and update is becoming more and more and more. So by automating this one thing, we're literally able to save every single sales rep like 20 to 40 minutes a day on average, depending on the velocity of prospects and customer data that they're handling. So here's how it works. We're going to show this live and visualize this for you. So the prospect data, once I get a customer engaged or I have data that I want to enter, a lot of the times the communication is in the email, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to forward that email to a parser, an email parser, an inbox, okay? And what ChatGPT is going to do, we use Zapier to watch that inbox and then send that data into ChatGPT. ChatGPT ingests the data, parses the data, creates the data structures, and then processes it into something usable that we can then automatically inject into a CRM, into an Excel or Google Sheet, right? With all of the proper associations and assignments. And then because we have that data structure and we can even create data over here, we can now then run downstream automations like notifications, like automated engagements, and so on. So let's show how this works. This is, again, one of my favorite. This is one of the first ones that I built.
This is a no-brainer. So he's going to show you here, folks, an email that a customer would send to you or one of your salespeople, and how using AI, again, he converts this into a structured environment. Take a look at this.
Okay, so here's an example. So I just sent this email to John Doe at law office. Hi, John. My name is Aaron. I work with Hypelocal. We specialize in IT services for Toronto-based businesses. I noticed that you've been in business for over 5 years and wondering if you need any help setting up, saving time, or saving money with your office technology. Okay, prospect responds back, hey, yes, we might need some help. What type of services do you offer? Okay, I respond back, hey, John, we've been in business for 20 years and we offer managed IT, managed print, managed security, remote workforce technology, right? The works. This can be, of course, anything. Are you looking for support on any of these solutions right now? John responds back, typical prospect response. Yes, I am actually looking for somebody interested in that. Can we get on a call in the next few days? Okay, so now I've got the prospect data as a salesperson. I got to go enter this into the CRM. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to forward this to an email. Okay, so let me grab the email that we have here. So the email that I set up is auto data structuring, right? Just a random mailbox through the Zapier automation system. I'm going to send this. Okay, this is now going to take a second to pipe all the way through the funnel. So we'll give it.
What's happening, folks, is the pertinent data out of the customer's emails is being extracted and using the AI organized in a manner that, your rep would manually have to put it into your CRM or whatever, environment you're using.
Exactly. Yeah. And what it's also doing is it's actually creating new data just based on the initial inputs that were being entered in there, and based on the commands and instructions that we're giving ChatGPT. So as an example, you'll see, here we go. Let's go ahead and pull this up. I'm going to zoom in here. Okay, so we can see here, here's our timestamp for this that just took place. Okay, JD Law Office, the title of the person, right? We can see all our fields, the first name, the last name, phone number, the email, right? The time zone, what services they requested, and then a description here. Aaron Leblanc, CEO of Hypelocal Marketing, reached out to John Doe, General Manager, JD Law Office, offering IT services for his Toronto-based business. John responded positively, expressing interest, and proposed schedule a call in the following days to discuss further. So you can see here, I've actually inferred a number of fields here just based on what data was in that email, right? Because there's the title data. There's, what is being discussed here and so on. So, I can't say this enough. The sky's the limit. We've done some really, really unique and custom things just based on what's in the email and creating those notes. And then this here,
sorry,
go ahead.
Questions people may have. If you would, sales territories, Aaron, are often structured by zip code. Okay, so is that able to be picked up if it's not actually in the email? You know what I mean? Like,
so what you could do is, a lot of the times a person's phone number is in the email or the address, right? And you can actually have the AI process the data and pick that up and create the zip code or infer the data, right? So go ahead, sir.
The reason I thought this was relevant to our audience is because, sales turnover, from what we see in our rural centers, 20 to 30%. In metro centers, sales turnover could redline up, close to 50%. And so as you've got reps turning over, we all know that the intentions may be good, but the actual uploading of the data or capturing all those communications that rep does while he or she's there for 3 months, 6 months, whatever. I just thought this would be a simple one for you, the business owner, to get the juice out of the activities while that person was there, let alone remove all the manual effort from your mature reps that we want, spending more time selling. And lastly, those fields can be set up. Aaron just gave you some examples there. You could set up whatever the structure you want, but those are just some basic ones we want to show. Sorry, buddy.
For sure. Those fields are just examples, and that data can be injected automatically into a CRM, right? With the proper assignments and associations created. And the sky's the limit. What we've done off of that data is create automated email nurtures, put them into segmented lists, right? And even use AI down here to do additional processing, to do other things, which can be very interesting. So,
what would be an example of other things, Aaron? So
craft a business proposal as an example. Right, suck in actually all the parameters that the IT reseller might have for how to structure a quote or a business proposal, and then have AI actually create the raw content for the proposal, and then have the rep just go in and basically edit things. You can even give a template and have AI fill in the template with structured data. Like it's unbelievable.
One thing, this is why I showed that confusing roadmap at the beginning, is there's two things, right? One is, how do we use it in a way that drives business results, not get caught in the noise. As Aaron's saying, it's an endless road what you can do with this. And that's why what we're trying to do today, again, is show you some basic ones that are immediate ROI that I believe are applicable to you, the people watching today. The other thing to think about too is, once you set these up, it's not like you have to do it every month or every quarter. Like, these are automated workflows. Now, sometimes you have to come in and tweak them, of course, etc. But what we're finding is that customers are doing level 1, then they're coming back and immediately doing level 2, then level 3. So again, these are some basic ones that we're doing now that we wanted to kind of, again, show you and not just talk about. Sorry.
No, perfect. So I talked about the opportunities using that data within other automations like Slack or Teams, automating the data into CRM or other systems that maybe your QuickBooks account, right? As an example, gearing the AI to infer additional data from the info parsed and create new fields, right? Like checkboxes, like, hey, is this a decision maker, right? Boolean fields that we can then use in our automations later down the line.
One thing, Aaron, we're doing right now is, person inquires on managed IT services. We've got set up an automated, buyer checklist. Hey, John, you're interested in IT. Here's a checklist that, oh, by the way, has a criteria that favors your solution potentially, that is automatically presented to the buyer. So we're trying to match the activities to the buyer journey, not just simplify the sales effort, but look at both sides as we do this. Anyway. So auto structuring, very relevant, easy to do.
Okay, so for our last automation, we want to talk about the auto meeting scheduler.
So, you may use Calendly right now or HubSpot's tool or whatever, but I just find there's a lot of ping pong going on, as I mentioned earlier, between the customer and the rep. Hey, can you meet then? Can you meet now? And so we want to show you something to remove the back and forth emails. Think about it. How many times have you lost the fish on the line because you just haven't been able to schedule that meeting, right? And then maybe there's delays, or in many cases, there's cancellations. So the quicker we think you can get interest to meeting, the better. Anyway, take a look at this one here, if you will. Aaron's going to show you.
Yeah. So to add on to what you're saying, Rick, I've managed a lot of outbound sales teams, and I found that with our outbound teams, prospects don't always want to schedule their own meeting, right? They don't want to start doing things for the salesperson before they're ready. So what this does is this gives the sales rep a way to actually completely automatically send that prospect the available meeting slots from their calendar. So For example, the team member gets an email, meeting is confirmed, send me some times. Okay. That data is then forwarded to the parser. So we forward again, the parser is the trigger, or an inbox is a trigger. What our automation is going to do is it's going to get the available meeting slots from our calendar via API, whether that's Google Calendar, Outlook, or some webmail calendar. Then what ChatGPT will do is it will evaluate the raw meeting data, okay, from here, and it will identify the available slots within the calendar, and it will actually pick them out 1, 2, 3, right, or whatever the number is that you choose. Then what we are doing is we're doing a second step with ChatGPT to actually create the response. So like a human written response going to the prospect. And then the automation will automatically send a response via email with the available times. So let's go ahead and test this out here. Okay, so let's just use the same email that we have here, okay, that we forwarded initially. This time we'll look at John Doe's inbox. So I'm going to forward this to my automatic calendar schedule email. Okay, so I have auto scheduler, right? Another Zapier inbox that I'm just using as my parser. I'm going to send that. So this one will take a little bit longer, simply because there are multiple different AI commands that have to happen in the back end and automatically. So just
okay. So the one thing here, Aaron, I think people are probably wondering, if I'm a sales rep, like how much control is this thing going to automatically fire back 3 or 4 or 5, whatever you want to set at times? And I think what you're showing is that the sales rep would receive the email, would forward it to the parser, the automation, then the automation would take over from there. Is that correct? To then respond to the customer?
That's correct. Yeah, absolutely.
So it does have the opportunity in the middle. It just gets away from the back and forth, rep, check and schedule, all these manual steps.
And you can gear your requirements however you want, right? For example, you can tell the automation or the AI that give the prompt to actually say, look over 5 days or look over 2 days, right? Or look however many days you want. And you could say present 5 different times or only 2 times, right? So let me just check here. We're done. Okay, so here's my email. Okay, so I'm in John Doe Law Office email, right? I can see I just got a response. Hi, John. Great to hear you're interested in managed IT services. I'm just going to zoom this in. I'm more than happy to discuss this further with you. I have a few slots open over the next few days. November 2nd, right? 10 a.m. to 10:30, 11 a.m. to 11:30, November 3rd, 9:30 to 10 a.m. Please let me know what time works for you, or alternatively, you can book a time that suits you using this link, right? So if they're not scheduling a time or saying, hey, this works for me, they can actually just use that Calendly link. So there's some things I want to share. Did you have something to say, Rick?
Yeah, I was just saying, so somebody may be thinking right now, okay, why would I not just respond to the guy with my Calendly link and say, hey, John, here's my Calendly link, book a time kind of thing. Why would what's the benefit of this automation versus kind of just responding with Calendly link?
A great question. Again, the biggest thing I found with outbound sales teams is a lot of the times the prospect doesn't want to click the link and book their own time, or they're strapped for time. So they if it's like, hey, book a time, the guy's like, I just don't have the time, and they forget about this email. So what this does is this checks both boxes to ensure the conversion of the prospect to a book presentation is at the highest rate possible. Now, a couple of insights here is that once the prospect responds, okay, they say, hey, 11 a.m. works for me. We can actually have an automation that listens to that email and then schedules the time in the rep's calendar completely automatically. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing is all those message that you saw can be customized completely based on your company, your branding, your messaging, right? You can add additional automations I mentioned that to book the meeting. For a larger team, the more meetings that are booked on a daily basis, the bigger the impact on time savings and efficiency. And then lastly, is that automation can be chained together, like with the data structuring, to automatically add the data to the CRM or add them to a nurture, an upsell campaign, right?
Here's a classic example. It happens right now. If the reps are using Calendly, by the way. So the rep would respond and say, okay, here's my link. Let's book a meeting. What we're seeing from a sell to win perspective is we're saying, okay, wouldn't you be better off while that exchange is going on, maybe within the messaging saying to the customer, by the way, before we meet, here's a popular ebook on managed IT services, or you might want to check out this recent webinar on cybersecurity, because those of you that are, we'll call it more astute in terms of digital marketing, you understand lead scoring and some of these things that evaluate where the prospect is in the funnel. And we think we can kind of hypercharge that exchange, not just to be improve the percentile of customer booking a meeting, but have that customer a little more educated or sold, if I may say that, on your organization prior to the meeting.
For sure. Definitely. And it can be the message, the outgoing message can be completely customized based on what that engagement within the email is.
Yes, with the spirit and personality of your business, dead serious. We like to be lighthearted. There's all these types of flavors that go. So I think is that the 4 that we had there?
Yep, that's the 4 big ones that we wanted to show today. So
okay. Great. So if you I think what Aaron was trying to show today, and look, these may not all be for you. I mean, we thought the 4 of them seemed to be simple to implement, quick to implement, and drive an immediate ROI. As you can see on the slide here, these are the benefits, we'll call it. But I think in short, what we're trying to show today is that AI can exist on its own, automation can exist on its own, but when the two come together, that's where the magic happens. And that's what we're doing with customers. And we're trying to show applications of that the power of the two together. So I think on the next slide there, you've got a little package we put together. And look, this isn't a push sell. It's just an opportunity. If you'd like Aaron and our team to come in on the left side there and just do a quick assessment, a scan of what you're using, your technologies now, we'll spend the time to understand your environment and then give you a report that says, hey, here's what you could do. And if nothing else, you'll leave with an understanding what's possible either now or in the future using best practices from your industry. Or if you want to jump in, I know when my wife sometimes takes me into a store, I like to see the price tag on the stuff before I go in. So we just wanted to show you guys, here's a price on a package. You could pick 3 of these 4. And we wanted to let you know as well, there's a technology kind of that you're required to do these. We talked about Zapier. We talked about some things today, but I just wanted you to know to run these automations. And that's pretty much our cost in terms of running the technology. But once you set these things up again, you've got them. They're automated. And you don't have to keep going back, tweaking them. So in short, there is a QR code there to a landing page if you're interested. No obligation. The intent today was to show you what's possible for when you're in the window.
So before we take any questions, I also wanted to clarify that these would be fully customized for every business, right? Based on their technology that they're using, based on their messaging, the products and services that they sell. So this is to a one-time build and implementation with you, working with you and working with your business to make sure that these work efficiently and drive return on investment for you.
Awesome. You just answered one of the questions, Aaron, so thank you. And then the rest is comments. Someone just said, this looks like a really great integration with OpenAI providing a deliverable result.
So the one question I got on the side here from someone who asked a lot of questions is, okay, looks great. How long does this take to implement?
So it very quick. We could implement this based on the technology that you have in 1 to 2 weeks. We could implement all 3 of these.
So I think, we can implement. The one thing that we want to do with these, and we've already done some, is we want to make sure, like Aaron said, we understand your current environment. It's customized to you. You'll get our content in the back end in terms of the prompts around ChatGPT and these things. Hey, thanks very much. If you joined us today, if you're watching the replay, thanks for hanging with us. We really appreciate it. And hopefully the information today will help you start, advance, and win more deals. Aaron, thanks so much for joining us with your insights and the great stuff you're doing for our Into Communications customers on the digital marketing side.